Well, hello, beautiful beings. So happy to be here with you on this day, I believe, 7. And today is all about how to take care of your body in times of great change. What do you actually do? What's important to understand? How do you actually, get yourself to a place of supporting the extra stressors if you have them? Is there a way? Does it even matter? And can you actually make permanent cellular shifts such that you no longer need to do some of those things? I, for a long time, took supplements. Oh my God, so many supplements. I ran the largest holistic nutrition clinic in Canada, and that's because I was really sick at one point. I was exposed to some serious toxins, and I thought my only way, and trust me, I was an economist, understanding integrative nutrition was definitely not my natural state. Mostly, I just took my health for granted and went to the doctor. It wasn't until I got sick in a way that doctors couldn't help me with chronic yeast infections that I realized were not because of a, monostat deficiency. And I started getting migraines, which I realized were not because of an Advil deficiency. And I thought to myself, why is this occurring? And I started to become very, very curious. So today, what we're going to talk about is how do you support your body epigenetically and otherwise, nutritionally, and in all other ways, so that you actually are bigger than your circumstances. You have more energy than your circumstances. You have more clarity than your circumstances. Would that turn your crank? Do you want to hear about that today? Because I certainly did when I changed my mind from doing like 5 cleanses a year. And oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. And so I'd love to hear from everybody from all over the world. If you can put in your name, where you're hailing from, you know, um, maybe a word, what's your word of the day, like hope. That's always a wonderful word of the day. What is your word today? What's the word that you just want to put into the greater ethers of our beautiful communal environment? What is that? So, secondly, and like I said, I read them all. I look at them all. I always love hearing from you guys. Vibrant is good. So, my word for today is introspective. I think that's my word. So, that's my word. And I am in Asheville, North Carolina. So, oh, I see some people have some health issues right in the comments, but let's keep working on this. Let's keep looking today. So what happens to the body when we're going through a tremendous amount of stress, whether it is mental, physical, biological, whatever? What happens to the body? Well, what happens in my case when I was chemically stressed out is that my body's lymphatic system got clogged up. My brain wasn't working as well. I didn't have as much energy. Every time I would exercise, what would happen is toxins would actually come out my my lymphatic, like it would come out on the sides of my neck. It would come out in the crook of my arm. And they would come out as swelling and red spots and inflammation, and it was really bad. I also found myself irritable and reactive. So it was no fun. My biological age by the time I was 31 or 2, somewhere in there, was already in my late 40s or early 50s. So my biology was pretty up there when I was in my, let's say 30 years old. Pretty crazy. So I know a thing or two about what the body needs, but see, that was acute. So I want to make a distinction. When you have acute problems like migraines and welts and, you know, all sorts of, specific things that are going on in your body, whether it's arthritis or autoimmune stuff, there are things that you can do nutritionally, homeopathically, et cetera, for sure. But today is not about those acute things. It's not about detoxifying the heavy metals out of your body, which is something that I had to do uh, because that's what I got exposed to. What I want you to know that when you have this low grade, consistent feeling that all the parts are moving and you don't necessarily have control over all of them. When you feel this low grade sense that something's going on in the world that is less than optimal, when you have this low grade sense that every system hasn't landed yet and we're in an evolution, when your nervous system starts to detect that there is stuff going on in the world, in your environment, what happens is if you're not super conscious about it, if you're not grounding probably every few hours, if you're not doing something to zero point yourself as sovereign from the noise, if you're not doing that, then at some point, and if you don't recognize yourself as someone, recognize yourself, meaning if you're not available to that greater aspect of you that is already wired to the solutions and already knows that every feeling that would have you that this world could give you that would allow you to feel at peace hasn't landed yet. Like, that when your circumstances are all grounded and groovy, it's easy to feel grounded and groovy. The Olympic athlete level of what we're talking about here is about feeling grounded and groovy when everything around you is shifting and changing and you're being asked to, you know, that's another thing that happens, by the way. I was just going to say being asked to find congruence in every way. When all the balls are in the air, when all the cards are in the air and nothing's landed, that's another thing. It's going to be conducive to looking at patterns in your life that also haven't found congruence. Those patterns are going to be triggered and poked and prodded right now. And because those triggers, if there is anything that's up to shift or change or have you feel more stable in your being, it's going to come up to leave. Now, you could spend your life, you know, analyzing the living daylights out of it or trying to change your circumstances to feel better, like get a new job, quit your old job, quit your girlfriend, quit your boyfriend, change houses, change cities. You could change your circumstances, but as you know, wherever you go, there you are. And if there are patterns coming up that look like they're old coming up now, that's going to give you stress too. And how do you deal with that stress physically, metaphysically, epigenetically, and all of those things? By the way, if you just joined us, make sure you put your word and where you're hailing from so we can say hi. All right. So as I said, there's immediate kind of acute health issues. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about low grade, everything in the world is changing. My amygdala is on alert, even if it's not fully engaged and I'm not in fight or flight. It's just kind of there, kind of scanning. It's like your cells are all scanning to see when the next shoe is going to drop. That causes a low grade state of anxiety that takes you out of connection with the very ideas, clarity, and knowingness. Because as soon as you go into fight or flight, it's all about you. What can I do? What are my resources? What are immediately around me? As opposed to what are the greater solutions that come from your connection to the, let's say, all seeing, all-knowing universe that is communing with you all day, every day. It's just, are you paying attention or not? So how do you let nutrition and other physiological things that I'm gonna talk about actually put you back in the state of deeper connection? How do you get some support from your surrounding, the sustenance and the activities that you can do? So, 1, whenever there is greater stress, always a B complex is called for. So some kind of stress B complex, so helpful. Um, next is, and I'm so glad you're finding these sessions amazing, really, truly. So next is B complex, B complex, B complex. Okay, that's first. Secondly, you need to get good sleep. I'm going to give you some suggestions for good sleep. 1 is pick a standard time, always go to bed at that time. 2 is turn off all the lights in your house, an hour, all the lights, and just keep lit, like low lit, very subtle lighting going on about an hour before you go to bed. 3 is do not do work, do not do anything that requires mental activity, because as soon as you tell your brain that, your brain's gonna be worrying within an hour of going to bed. Last, around sleep is there are some things that can help. There are things that my, there are things that my I love Nanu Nanu. My sweet husband and I do. One of them is called Happy Camper. Happy Camper calms the brain. You can buy Happy Camper on Amazon. You can buy Happy Camper anywhere. You have to make sure that based on your sensitivities, you check it out, talk to your doctor, whatever, if you feel that's necessary. The other thing is things like Calm for sleep, which is a magnesium supplement that has extra things to help you sleep. So magnesium is incredibly helpful. It relaxes all your muscles. You do all these things within a half an hour of going to sleep. The Happy Camper calms your mind. uh, I take 2 or 3. The magnesium, the sleep calm for sleep, you just take a good tablespoon and some water. Those are the kinds of things. The last thing is, I mean, there are other things like melatonin, and I find that melatonin doesn't work for me, but you can try it for yourself. I also don't like taking hormones that my body can make themselves. I'd rather give my body the things that are the raw materials to make those or that calm me down enough that it makes them on its own. Um, Last is Rescue Remedy by Bach Flower. You can get it anywhere. You can get it in Whole Foods or whatever health food store. Rescue Remedy under the tongue before you go to bed to calm the nerves down. Um, I often do all of those things right now, all of them. So sleep provides the recharge necessary to have your energy in overflow. Also, sleep is wonderful because it unplugs you from anything that's pulling on you. Um, and before you go to sleep, something that's really crucial is do gratitude. Like actually get yourself present to some serious gratitude before you go to bed. Because if you can do, let's say, 5 things that you're grateful for, and really right before you go to bed, that's the spirit in which you sleep. You stand a much better chance of waking up in that same spirit rather than going right back to being pulled by all of life. So, but what about the daytime now that we've got sleep handled? What I mean, some of you may not have sleep handled. For some of you, there are extenuating circumstances. You may have some adrenal dysfunction. You may need to take some ashwagandha tea. So speaking of ashwagandha, ashwagandha is fabulous to calm the nervous system, helps your adrenals, it helps your thyroid. Definitely a great pre-sleep thing, but it doesn't make you tired so much as it calms your nerves. So, yeah, I hear you with the dry eye issue. The What I would do is I do this all day. I've got a green drink that has ashwagandha in it, and I also drink ashwagandha tea all day. Helps my thyroid, helps my adrenals, keeps me from being overreactive, calms my nervous system. That is a fabulous herb. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And if you do that on top of your stress B complex, extremely helpful. Okay. Next is um, during the day, you may, and by the way, B complex, I just want to say this too. B complex is a water soluble, mostly water soluble little supplement. So, with a water soluble supplement, you want to take them over the course of the day. In 3 hours, any effect that it had on you will be peed away. So you want to make sure you take it every 3 hours, no later than 6 o'clock in the evening. As far as ashwagandha, you want to look on the bottle and see what it says. Me drinking ashwagandha tea, no problem. Do it all day long. And I take my green drink with ashwagandha and other things on it. I think it's by Organifi. And I drink that all day long. So, um, my rule of thumb with herbs is that whatever feels good, to the taste of whatever feels good, and always look on the bottle. Last thing I want to talk about today, because, I could tell you so much. I mean, right now I'm doing all sorts of stuff for my body. There are some really great, you want to make sure that you go to the bathroom and that your digestive system works. By the way, digestive system working is going number 2 twice a day. If you don't go number 2 twice a day, you're going to have auto intoxication always to some degree. And that auto intoxication is going to put some stress on your nervous system and on the rest of your body because you were born to eliminate at least twice a day. If you don't, just when I get stuck like that, I just use extra magnesium, which relaxes the muscles in your colon. And I know this is a lot of information, but you can go back and listen again. Or I get some Cascara Sagrada, which helps to soften your stools. And that really works. That's another aspect that people kind of discount. Oh, that's just me. I don't go. Well, I'm telling you, it makes a massive difference to your skin, to your body, to your bloating, to your everything to actually go. I have other things to say, but this is not a nutrition class. This is just literally for times of great change, right? Um, if you get overly anxious, you can take Bach flower remedy, rescue remedy anytime under your tongue, 2 minutes. Next, I want to talk about foods. And then I'm going to talk about exercise. So, food wise, the food that's going to actually not work in times of great change. So, let's say you get really tired and then you start drinking extra coffees or extra caffeinated beverages. Extra caffeinated beverages are going to cause blood sugar spikes up and down, not because there's sugar in them or because you use sugar, but because it stimulates your adrenals and it stimulates that mechanism. And so what happens is you're going to get cravings for more coffee. If you don't take care of your food, you're going to have more cravings for coffee. And coffee, of course, contains caffeine, even decaf. Decaf just has, I believe it's 2/3 less caffeine, but it still has caffeine, and that still aggravates your nervous system. So this does not cause peace in times of great change. I would actually cut your coffee back, and I would probably go to some kind of high quality green tea, which still has caffeine, but at least it has antioxidants to help deal with some of the oxidation that happens when you're stressed out if you need the caffeine. Other thing I would say is that lots of water is necessary, and you definitely want to have protein, a little bit of protein, animal or vegetarian, doesn't matter, at every single meal, combined with lots of fresh veggies, which I know when we're stressed out, the last thing we want to eat is like friggin' a salad. What we wanna eat is, like, chips. And because when we're stressed out, you crave salt. You crave salty, crunchy things when you're stressed out, okay? Salty, crunchy things is what your body will go for because of all the salt you're using up in your stressed outness. Um, at least if you're going to do chips, do them with some guacamole so that you get some of the good fats into your body. What else? Water, sleep, go to the bathroom, some easy supplementation that helps, just basically middle of the road supplementation, but those B vitamins become quite crucial. Certainly ashwagandha is great. Some people take rhodiola. Have some have some rescue remedy on hand. It's very helpful when you get overly anxious. So now let's finally talk about the physical body and exercise. It's so easy to do the immediate things we need to do in order to come down. Like sometimes I go to YouTube and I watch really hilarious comedians. Or I'll watch dogs being rescued. That always makes me feel better, right? Or I'll watch a really hilarious husky videos. That does actually change your state. There's no question. Things like, but a lot of people go to uh, drinking or smoking. Like, I'll just have a glass of wine. It's the end of the day. I just have a glass of wine. But what you got to understand is that having wine every day, having beer every day, I'll just have a beer, you know, or smoking cigarettes or whatever it is, all of those things actually toxify your body and can cause overgrowths of dysbiosis, bacteria or fungus or any of those things that don't work. And then the very growth of those, the side effect is actually overwhelm. So the side effect of doing those things is overwhelm, right? So so it actually may feel relaxing in the moment, but it actually that's why it causes addiction. It causes addiction because you get the temporary fix, but the temporary fix actually doesn't give you the what you're looking for, because 'cause you'll be doing that the rest of your life. Um, so instead, I know it's really hard at first, but for me, I go for a walk. I go for a walk every day. I go for a bike ride every day. One of those things I cannot not do it. What it does is it dissipates the hormones. It uses up the excess energy caused by anxiety. It calms the body down. It actually gives you spaciousness because now you're not involved or in front of the things that stress you out. It actually causes more oxygen to get to your brain, so you become less reactive. It also uses up it helps with some of that oxidative stress, the toxins that start to build because when we're stressed out, we actually tend to start to acidify in certain parts of our biology. And when you go for a walk, you're decreasing the stress, but you're also moving your lymphatic system. And your lymphatic system is the only thing that moves those toxic substances out of your body. And the only way to get those toxic substances out of your body is through your lymphatic system, which the only way that it's activated is through exercise. You have to move. So, some of these things just take discipline. It's like a choice. You just have to choose to do them. But I think I'll stop there. I can think that's a lot, right? You got to make sure your intestines move. You got to make sure you drink enough water every day. For goodness sakes, don't drink more coffee. You got to move your body. These are just basic things. Supplementation if you needed to go to sleep. I'm telling you, the things that I shared, they work like so well. If you already sleep well, you don't need to do them. But if you don't sleep well, I would do all of them. During the day, get yourself on a good B complex. Like I said, there are other things I would recommend, but this is not a nutrition class. Just stay away from processed food. The worst foods you can have during stress is sugar, caffeinated things, and alcohol. Those are the 3 worst things. A green drink every day helps you to get rid of the cravings for the things that aren't serving you. Green drinks also give you energy because they provide iron that allows your cells to uptake oxygen better. Yes, my husband's saying hostage tape for sleep. I use that every night. I just put this hostage tape over my I know it sounds crazy, but you do it and it makes you breathe through your nose, which is much more calming for your body, by the by. Not only that, it really helps your teeth because then your saliva stays active all night, and saliva is what literally kills gingivitis and all the things on your so who wants that stress on top of everything else, right? Dental stress. So, oh, this is such a small little piece of my world in holistic health, but I hope this really helped you today. I appreciate you. Uh, and I'm just reminding you that finding peace in times of great change, tell all your friends, gather them because tomorrow at 5:55, we're going there. We're going to go and we are going to do a collective activation to get to a place where it's not about finding peace tomorrow. It's actually about finding your power center, like actually being in your power, growing bigger than the current circumstances. Tomorrow in the United States is the day before the election. So it's like, who doesn't want to be in their center, right? Uh, I'm going to reiterate something I said the other day. You either make powerful decisions from a place of weighing rationales, which is your personality looking for self interest, or you make decisions from your greater self from a place of discernment rather than rational choice. You actually discern it from your greater wisdom. Tomorrow, we're going to get into that space of pure consciousness where your power is, so you can actually make powerful discernment about anything, not just elections. So, you guys, love you so much. I'd love to hear from you about the thing that really stood out today about what we talked about. What was important for you to hear? What did you need to hear? What was important to you? What was good? What was juicy? Also, share the videos with a friend. Go on the YouTube channel or the Wide Awakening YouTube channel and get your little butt over there. We're also on Facebook, of course, and on Instagram. You can come and join us at 5:55 at any of those places, including LinkedIn /Jennifer Hough. And share the videos. Share them with people. The one on carrying, I know that's going to get shared a ton, right? That is going to get shared a ton. People carry, so women in particular, men do it too, but women, my gosh, do we carry. So go back and listen to yesterday if you haven't yet. It was powerful. And I look forward to tomorrow. Biggest hugs. Have the best morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And we'll see you. We'll see you the next time. Woohoo! Finding peace at times of great change. See you.